The alchemy of happiness is a guide to transform the essence of man from his baseness to the purity of the angelic state. This transformation is through increasing knowledge of God. However, before you can begin to know God, first you must know yourself. Knowing yourself starts with an understanding of the human being's two distinct components, the body and the heart, or more specifically, the spiritual heart. There are 5 steps to understand the heart. First, you must recognize its existence. Next, know that the heart works to seek happiness through knowledge of God. It acquires this knowledge through knowledge of God's creation. Next, know that the body is a kingdom, and within it, the limbs and organs are its workers. Appetite is the tax collector. Anger is the policeman. Intellect is the chief minister. And the heart is king. The body is in a constant spiritual struggle between being held captive by anger and appetite and using them as a mount and weapon to attain spiritual fulfillment. If the heart acts at the advice of the intellect and keeps anger and appetite under control, the path to happiness will be made accessible. But if the intellect becomes the prisoner of anger and appetite, the kingdom will become desolate and the heart will be destroyed. Know that appetite and anger were created to nourish and protect the body and are its servants. The body was built to bear the senses, and it is their servant. The senses were created for intelligence gathering and serve the intellect. The intellect was created as the lamp of the heart. Through its light, the heart may see the divine presence. Thus, the intellect is the servant of the heart. The heart was created to witness the beauty of the divine presence and is its servant. The heart has a number of qualities which can be grouped into 4 types: predatory attributes that find happiness in rage, destruction, and killing; bestial attributes, these seek happiness in eating, sleeping, and copulating; demonic attributes, these thrive on evil, treachery, and deceit; and angelic attributes, which seek happiness in the contemplation of the divine presence. To attain spiritual happiness, the angelic quality of intellect must master the predatory, bestial, and demonic qualities. Now that you know the qualities of the heart, know that the heart's nobility is what elevates humans above the rank of beasts. Nobility from knowledge has 2 degrees. One is gathered by the heart through a door that opens toward the 5 external senses, such as learning the arts and sciences. The other is acquired directly by the heart through a door that opens to the heavens and divine inspiration. Know that the heart is like a well and knowledge is like water. The 5 senses are streams that fill the well. At the base of the well is dirt. Beneath the well is a pure spring. This dirt is like a veil that blocks the heart from accessing divine inspiration. To fill your heart with the pure water that lay beneath it, you must block the streams and empty the water. You must then remove the dirt at the base of the well, which is achieved by the struggle of disciplining the soul. Only then will the fountain of never-ending knowledge burst through and fill your heart. In truth, people in this world are deficient and weak. The heart is constantly struggling to subjugate the body's base qualities to the intellect. This is done through the knowledge of God and its key, the knowledge of oneself, the heart, and its nobility. That elevates man from the rank of beasts to that of angels. That is the start of the alchemy of happiness.
Know that knowledge and will are the special characteristics that allow man to draw near to God. Knowledge is information gathered either through the 5 external senses, hearing, sight, smell, taste, and touch, or the 5 internal senses, imagination, recollection, reflection, memory, and common sense. Willpower is necessary for man to nourish the body, such as appetite, and to protect his family, such as anger. Know that knowledge is acquired by learning and deduction, such as knowing that 2 + 2 = 4, or through inference, such as reflection. Acquired knowledge deals either with the present world, such as the arts and sciences, or the next world, such as knowledge of the heart, God, and His attributes. The power of the intellect cannot master the knowledge of both worlds, causing tension. Knowledge can also be flung into the heart without acquisition or proof, and this is called general inspiration. This is the way prophets and saints had divine inspiration revealed to them, not by learning and study, but by cutting off ties with the present world, emptying the heart, and advancing wholeheartedly toward God. Knowledge and will separate man from beast and create many ranks: beast, youth, adults, the learned, the wise, saints, and prophets. Man increases in rank by cleansing and purifying the heart, for only pure hearts are exposed to God's gifts. There is an important difference between the actions of the learned and that of the saints that will be explained by way of analogy. Take the story of the competition between the Chinese and the Byzantines. A king gave them each one side of a room with a curtain hanging in between. The Byzantines gathered together countless colors and created their work of art. But the Chinese had no color and instead spent their time polishing the wall, giving it dazzling brightness. When the curtain was lifted, the Byzantines' art was reflected by the Chinese side with radiant brilliance. Thus, the beauty of the Byzantine art was increased by its added illumination. The learned are like the Byzantines and work to acquire knowledge itself and gather it into the heart. The saints, like the Chinese, work to polish, purify, and clarify the heart until the true nature of the real shines forth clearly therein. Know that the heart is like a mirror. Every heart is innately capable of knowing truth. However, there are 5 reasons the mirror may not reflect the divine light. A defect in formation, such as the heart of a youth that is not completely formed. It is turned away, such as the heart of a good and obedient person who does not seek God. Although it is bright, it will not have the real revealed in it. It is ignorant of the direction. It is covered with dirt, rust, or dullness, resulting from acts of disobedience to God. Lastly, there is a veil between it and God. Thus, to reflect the divine light, one must prepare for adulthood, seek God, follow the straight path, obey God, lift the veil by emptying the heart of this world and remembering God. Know that there are 3 degrees of faith. The lowest is blind imitation. For example, if someone tells you that a person is in a house and you believe that is the truth. Next is logical reasoning. If you hear that person's voice emanating from the house and you deduce that is the truth. The highest degree is experiential knowledge. If you look at the person in the house with your own eyes and you actually see the truth. Only the purest hearts can reach this degree and see clearly with the light of certainty. Know that character is different from action. A character trait is a set condition of the soul, while an action is simply an intentional movement of the body. A stingy person may give money on occasion, but that does not make them generous. Generosity is a character trait when giving money is pleasurable. Just as the body has distinct organs and parts, the soul has distinct attributes, the rational, predatory, and bestial attributes. Beautiful character occurs when the soul's attributes are balanced. The rational attribute is the ability to reason, for example, distinguishing truth from falsehood. When deficient, it leads to stupidity, and when excessive, to swindling and fraud. The predatory attribute is the quality of anger. When deficient, it leads to cowardice, and when excessive, to recklessness. The bestial attribute is that of appetite and desire. When deficient, it leads to indifference, and when excessive, to gluttony. When the attributes are balanced, the rational leads to wisdom, the predatory to courage, and the bestial to restraint. Finally, when the predatory and bestial attributes are set under the command of the intellect, it leads to the fourth virtue, justice. It is easier for the soul to rest in the extremes of the various attributes, either in deficiency or in excess. However, the middle path, while more difficult, is the necessary path for good character. The soul falls sick when its attributes are out of balance, and as a result, the heart becomes incapable of loving God. The heart can be treated by means of spiritual struggle. The medicine for ugly character is to force the soul to perform actions that directly counter the flawed character trait. However, different diseases of the heart require different cures, just as a physician cannot treat all patients with the same medicine. And as with the body, the heart requires medicine only until the symptom goes away and balance is restored. For example, a stingy person should oblige himself to give continuously until it becomes easy to do so. Stinginess is cured when it is more pleasurable for one to give money than to keep it. The path to a disciplined soul starts with aspiring, the desire to come to the truth through inner struggle. One must struggle to keep the soul under the command of the intellect. The only way to discipline the soul is by denying destructive pleasures through renouncing one's desires. These desires create barriers between the person and truth. Wealth, lifted by ridding oneself of the unnecessary. Prestige, lifted by distancing oneself from it. Conformism, lifted by renouncing one's blind imitations. And sin, lifted by repentance and avoiding previous mistakes. Once these barriers are lifted, one needs to build a fortress around themselves to maintain a just equilibrium among the attributes of the soul. Know that the heart is constantly in a state of change from the influence of ideas and recollections. These are called involuntary suggestions. They are flung into the heart, either from within, such as imagination, or from without, from the 5 external senses. Involuntary suggestions are of 2 classes. Blameworthy, which lead to evil, are from demons and have many gates to the heart, such as anger and appetite, envy and greed, possessions, stinginess, and many others. Praiseworthy, which lead to good, are from angels, with only one gate to the heart, remembrance of God. The heart must seek the advice and counsel of the intellect in its constant struggle against blameworthy suggestions. Know that involuntary suggestion is the root cause of all action. For example, a man may see an attractive woman. Once in the heart, the involuntary suggestion causes desire. The image of the woman will stir the natural human appetite. Next, the heart must make a judgment, either to follow the body's natural inclination and feed its appetite, or to use the intellect to nullify the desire with reflection. The next stage is to fix his determination and define his intention. That is, the man's heart firmly decides whether or not to gaze at the woman. And finally, the heart commands the body to act. When blameworthy suggestion enters the heart, the only way to break the chain and prevent evil action is to remember God. Remembrance of God is the medicine for Satan's evil suggestions. Know that hearts are divided into 3 classes. The first class are those stained by blameworthy characteristics and burdened by passion. They are forsaken. The second class are those that are purified by means of discipline and built up with piety. They shine like mirrors, clear of all evil. Most people's hearts are in a third class, a state swaying between good and evil, until the more powerful characteristic takes over. The heart can attain salvation from Satan for a brief period of time. However, lifelong safety is impossible to attain. The intellect must forever struggle against the evil suggestions of passion by continuously disciplining the soul.